Anybody try to suck in a cough yet? Not let it out?
Nope.
So nobody looks at you weird?
I have no urge to cough, thankfully.
Never? Like, I feel like even when I don't have a cold or anything, every now and then I get like a little, like, a little piece of dust comes in. I'm just like, keep it moving.
No. That I know. Maybe I do it like without realizing I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten any weird looks, and I'm, being Asian and coughing, and it's not good right now.
But now I'm like, man, I don't want anybody to think like all of a sudden people start pushing away from you. I don't know. I do have a little bit of a cough, but I'm sure that I'm not. Can't be 100% sure, but I'm fairly sure it's not the Rona. But I am dealing with it, and it's fine. Mine, what I have, which is why I think it's not the Rona. No fever, nothing like that. Just every now and then I get a cough. Like Tori Amos called a light sneeze. Sometimes I catch a light cough. Let's see what else. But plus, the dust and all that shit. How was your guys' Easter?
It was actually pretty good. We did Kelly made some banana bread, which is also called
Nana.
Please let those bananas get too mushy to eat, because I love banana bread.
Right.
So while Bobby was sharing his smorgasbord of food with, I guess I'm outside the delivery radius for Easter breakfast.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Walking distance only.
It's fine. It's fine. We started playing some games with the kids. We played Uno,
Right.
which I have this. We call it the Pinkerton rules, but it's this modified version of Uno that I started like when I was in middle school. We'd play I think we played with 2 or 3 decks, and literally it wasn't a sanctioned school event, but it was like, it's break or whatever, and we're not allowed to go outside, so 15, 20 people will be playing Uno. But it's like, instead of let's say the card, you guys understand the concept of the game Uno, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So instead of say there's a green 4, the 2 cards you can play is a 4 of any color,
Or green.
or a green of any number, or one of the wilds or whatever. The way the game we play is, if it's a green 4, you can play a green 4, but you can also play any other color 4 along with that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you can change the colors that way.
And the other thing is, if somebody lays down like a draw 4 on you, if you have a draw 4, you can lay down a draw 4, and it stacks to the next person.
Yeah.
So if they don't have a draw, I had to draw 16 the other day.
Oh, wow.
I think
It's a fun modification.
everybody plays with house rules. I don't think anyone plays Uno properly.
I think I play it properly. I think.
Well, of course you do, but Bobby got mad playing whatever cards with friends or whatever because nobody wins.
Cards Against Humanity.
Against Humanity or whatever it's called. I will say Brian Brink was over one weekend when we were playing that, and he got very aggravated at my bonus rules. And I've yet to get my family to play Monopoly with me because they're all scared.
Well, do you play the free parking, all that?
Honestly, I don't know. That's not it. It's that I'm just a vicious monster when it comes to playing Monopoly.
Yeah, I'm down to give it a whirl, but I'm not. I don't play with that shit. Like, I don't. Like, there's no free parking. Is just a free turn. There's no bonus to landing there. Nothing goes in the middle.
Oh, the pot in the middle.
Yeah.
I've played that way with different people, and I take it or leave it. Honestly.
Gotcha.
Listen, I'm making so much money. It doesn't. I don't need your. I don't need your pity money when we turn the corner. Nobody wants to see me at Monopoly. I'm just being honest.
Hey, I'm down to play.
Bobby, me and you need to listen. For the sake of the community, we need to remain friends. So I think you and I playing Monopoly will be a last-ditch effort for entertainment.
Fair enough.
But just real quick to finish up, we played Jenga too, which I haven't played Jenga in years.
Nice.
That's a mind rattling game. And then Kelly had got these eggs. They were like, it's like a real eggshell, like 3/4 of a real eggshell. Then they filled them with confetti and taped a cap on the end of it.
Oh, that's how you make smoke bombs back in the day.
You did what now?
That's how you make smoke bombs back in the day.
Well, this was basically a glitter bomb. So we hit them for the kids, didn't tell them what they were, and then started throwing them at them, and that was a lot of fun. And played wiffle ball and just a bunch of goofing off. It was
Nice.
it was a fun day. We had a good
awesome.
day. Made the best of it.
That's
What
awesome.
about you guys?
Why don't you go ahead, Joe? I'm sure yours is going to be quite short.
Yes, got surprised. Fucking French toast from Bobby.
Mhm.
He was like, open the garage door. I'm like, okay.
I was going to ask. Tell me about this. Give me the logistics. Let's make the peanut butter sandwich of how this French toast gets to Joe's house.
So we were making breakfast, and it was actually fucking fantastic because we had the music going. We had everybody had a little job, so it was great. Excuse me, Rona, and we were making the French toast, and Jaina was like, "We should take some to Uncle Dolphin," and I was like, "I think he's working, but let me check." And he checked, and he's like, "He's home," and I was like, "All right, let's package it up." And then I had a logistic talk with Laura. I was like, "What's an appropriate amount of?" So here's a quick question. Chris, what is an appropriate amount of French toast to send to people theoretically to adults that are eating?
I mean,
Also depends on the.
I'd say two. A total of for them two. I would say 4 pieces would have been the. I'm sending you some food you didn't ask for in the hopes you're going to eat it, but I'm not sending you so much that I'm going to go hungry.
Okay. So I think I'm on board with you. I think that is the minimum. I think that 2, like a total of 4 is the minimum, and I think that a total of 8 should be the maximum. Okay? And then so that's how I viewed this thing, and I was like, well, let's send 6. That's enough for 3 each, or Joe could say, "Look, I'm having 4, and you get 2, or whatever."
Exactly. That's yes. That's on course.
Okay.
That's not what happened.
So then we put it on a paper plate. We wrapped the paper plate in tinfoil, and then Jaina and Selena took it down the street. Joe opened the garage door. We left it on the steps in his garage, and then Jaina and Selena came back to the house.
There you go.
They knocked on the door, and then I went out. There was nobody there, and then I thought I thought he was bringing back the Playhouse Kai.
I was counting on that.
So I was like, "What is this?" And then I picked it up. It was warm. I'm like, "Oh, is it cookies?" And then I opened up. It was French toast, and I lost.
Motherfucking French toast.
I was. That's like it was like it was my birthday, but it's not. It's Jesus' second birthday, apparently.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So I was like, "Look, Krista, look what I got." She was like, "What? You got French toast?" I'm like, "Yep, I got French toast." And I sat there and I ate all 6 pieces.
Well, as long as she knows that there was some intended for her to have some if she wanted some.
I didn't. I don't know what she assumed. I didn't really care. I got French toast.
How else did you spend your day?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Just dude. That's my entirety of my nerd week is Final Fantasy VII. I would just gush about that shit for like 2 hours if you let me.
I've been trying to check in on you, making sure that you're using the bathroom appropriately, that you're eating meals appropriately, that you're not dehydrated. How are you maintaining?
Great. I feel like I'm in high school again. I just laying in one spot all day playing Final Fantasy VII and like reaching over to like grab handfuls of chips and Mountain Dew.
Dude, we're gonna come
like
out.
I'm fucking 16 again.
Everybody else comes out of the quarantine a certain way, and they're like, "Joe, your quarantine must have been really rough." And you're like, "No. I was actually going to work. This was a Final Fantasy situation."
Dude, when I booted up the first day, shit, I teared the fuck up. I don't know, something about that game. Maybe it's just nostalgia. I don't know, but like, so like the opening, they made it really similar. They didn't remake it like scene for scene from the original, which they've shown before, like a tech demo of like how they could update the graphics. So like we've seen what it looked like.
Right.
So they changed it up enough just to make it interesting. But then like, you know, the music starts real slow, and then it gets into it, and then the title screen pops, and then the beat drops, and like I started tearing the fuck up uncontrollably.
That's a beautiful thing, though.
You know, you're not the first person to tell me that. I was talking to somebody else, and it may be. I think maybe it's an age thing. I think by the time that game was out, I was like not interested in it because I've never played it, never seen it probably. But I know some people that are more your age that are like, yeah, it's just, you know, fucking 23 years later, it's just like reliving my childhood in HD.
Yeah, and I mean, this is my Star Wars, Bobby. I think Final Fantasy is my Star Wars for you. And it's
and I think
it's something that hits you like deep. I can't even explain it emotionally.
I think I was always a little confused about the whole Final Fantasy vibe because You know, I remember when Final Fantasy came out for like the Super Nintendo, and it was like, you know,
Final Fantasy 2.
it was an RPG game, right? And then this comes out and it's 7, and I don't know. I was just super confused, I guess.
This is still an RPG. It's an action RPG. It doesn't play like a hack and slash. It's hard to explain. It's like a hybrid game. But like they've kept everything so far, but have added a lot of stuff, which makes it even better. Well, mostly.
Yeah.
Like one thing that I'm iffy about, but I have no complaints. And also, this is only part 1 of at least like 3 of. I don't know when part 2 is going to come out.
3 upcoming games?
Yeah, because
Wow.
the original game is so fucking large. This is like just the first section of the whole story.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I don't guess I realized it was so big.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, the game at the time on the PS1 is 3 discs.
Wow.
Oh wow! So it's like
It's long. Play it, and it says insert disc 2, and then
that's
keep
like
playing, and then insert disc 3.
that's like 8 megabytes, right?
Some shit like that. Hundreds of hours of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, totally fulfilled though. I mean, no regret.
Yeah. I mean,
that's awesome.
I'm
That's awesome.
still playing it. I'm only not sure if I'm halfway through it. I'm like not running. You know how when you play games a lot of times, especially open world games, you're just running from place to place. I'm like walking. Like I'm just walking and looking around, like living in the world.
Everywhere I went after that, I was running.
Yeah, I mean, the original game changed my life, man. Like I think I'm here because of that game.
I mean, but that's a beautiful thing. Like there's nothing better than to have like your thing have a modern take on it, and it's fucking fulfilling.
Yeah, and I mean, everyone's worried that it was gonna be. No, it can't live up to the hype, but I think it did. I mean, the reviews and scores show it.
How long has this been in development?
Dude, they announced that shit in 2015, and
Really?
they've already worked on it before that. So like, it's late. It came out like at least 2 years later than it.
But you know what, Joe?
Come out.
You know what, Joe? It came out at just the right time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, the only people who are complaining about it are like people who once, like, dude, I'm living your life, Bobby. It's like Star Wars. People are like, it's too different, and then people are like, it's too much of the same. I'm like,
I know it well.
well, what do you want?
I know it well.
But that's only like 5%, I think, of the people.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, I got into a conversation recently with somebody about it, and like, you know, it's just so funny. Like me and this individual just felt the exact opposite way of one another in regards to the sequel trilogy. You know, like it was like looking in a mirror. Like this person thinks 9 is the greatest thing that ever happened to Star Wars, and 7 is fine, and 8 is a big misstep. Doesn't hate any of it. Do you know what I mean? But just
Yeah.
And then I, on the other hand, feel the same way that 9 is a huge misstep, that 8 is one of the greatest things that ever happened to Star Wars, and that 7 is fine. You know, like it was like looking in the mirror.
And yeah, other than that, I've just been eating a shit ton of cereal.
Any new boxes this week?
This morning I've already eaten Frosted Flakes, Honey Bunches of Oats, and Apple Jacks.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, out of the little boxes.
No, I had full bowls. I've had about like 3/4 gallon of milk today.
Dude,
I'm being fucking horrible.
Dude. Are you? I mean, you're still working out, though, right?
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm just slipping.
Falling.
Can't get up. You don't slip it.
Got to get up.
So, let me tell you a little bit about my Easter, and then we'll do Rona Roms, and then we'll do Nerd Weeks. So, we have homemade bagels and all this shit for breakfast.
Yeah, what the fuck is homemade bagels?
So, like,
I don't know what a bagel
I looked
is.
at it, I'm like,
Yeah.
questionable.
So, like, Laura made the dough from scratch, like water, yeast, bread, you know what I mean, flour rather, like the whole bit, and then like
Bobby, I'm gonna let you finish. But was it water from New York?
no,
then they're trash.
yeah, no, I know, good point.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, of course. And then we put them in a like in a pot, and you like cook them in this water with honey and all this, and then you take them out, and then you bake them, and there's like a whole process to it. But they were delicious. I had a breakfast sandwich on it. It was outstanding. A couple of funny things though along the way. Like they had their Easter baskets. Like the Easter bunny in my house is like, oh, he's a bit of a prankster. So like there's like clues left all around the house for them to like find their gifts. And one of their gifts was this game called like Shark Attack or something. It's like you fish for these fish inside the shark's mouth, and then the shark's mouth is spring activated, and after you pull a certain amount of fish, it'll pop up and clamp onto your fishing rod. Which was a fun enough game. But then we played this game called it was like Don't Count Your Chickens or something like that.
Before the hatch.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it's from. But
I know.
Yeah, but like, so here's the thing about it. It's made by this woman, Peggy Brown. Her face is on the back of the box, as all humble creators are, and she has this one. It's called like a non-competitive. It's not non-competitive. I can forget the name of it, but basically like everybody wins or loses. So like I'm a little irritated because of already. But then like Jaina says, she's like, look at her. So Peggy is a healthy gal. Ironically, she's a plus size woman, and they're not enjoying the game, and Jaina says, looks like she made her way out of the pig pen, and I was like, oh my God, that's fucked up and good. Good joke. But there was other things that happened. Let me see. Then we made homemade pizza the same night. Well, we had the sauce from a jar, but like we used leftover dough and the whole bit, and it was nice. It was good. We had a really good day. I wanted to say that I wanted to shout out for one Passive Bear on Twitter. He wants Joe to start doing a DSA instead of a PSA, so that they are dolphin service announcements. And I have one today, but I'm going to hold off on it. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else like that we did. I took a nap. I think because I ate for breakfast. I had like 4 pancakes, little ones, like little circles, not like massive pancakes. Like the kind that you would get at a buffet, like that size shape. You know what I mean?
Trash. Pancakes. That's like
yeah. So I had like 4 of those, and then the breakfast sandwich, and then I had an extra bagel, which is like more bread that I've ever eaten in one sitting since in 2020, and maybe the latter part of 2019. And dude, I felt great. People are like they eat healthy and then they eat like shit, and they're like, oh, I feel terrible. No, I felt great. I felt fantastic. But I was tired as fuck. Like, I just sat there and I was like, I'm not going to make it. And before you knew it, like, I fell asleep at like 11 o'clock in the morning. And I woke back up at like 1. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I was just like, literally in a food coma. And then we had the pizza at night, and we took some walks and stuff. And it was good. It was a good day. The grandparents stopped by and visited Laura's parents, not mine, obviously. And they waited down.
Obviously.
You know the vibes. So they waited down by the mailbox, and my kids opened their gifts on the fucking porch, which is a weird dynamic to wait, look and see, or look and watch rather. And I think that's pretty much it for our Easter. The Easter bunny. Oh, here's one other funny thing. So like, Jaina was like, look, I got a question about the Easter bunny. Is it a large bunny that's man-sized? Is it a bunny that's normal bunny size, or is it a man in a bunny suit? and I was like, which one do you not want it to be? And she was like, a man in a bunny suit. So there's this thing, right? My kids are upstairs, so I'm being quiet. But there's this thing where like you can like take a picture and add the Easter bunny into it. So like I did it for Selena because she's like on the age of like, is this shit real? And showed her. So like the Easter bunny was like in my basement, put in the basket on the shelf. And so I showed it to Selena, and then Jaina said, let me see it. And Jaina looked at it and said, oh my God, it's a man in a bunny suit. I knew it. Then I think that was all I had.
It's Jesus in the bunny suit.
Right.
It's pronounced Jesus.
Jesus. So,
oh my God.
But it was good. It was good.
Does anyone do Jesus stuff on Easter anymore, or no?
Well, we're not a super religious family. Like I'm down to talk about it if the kids ever want to talk about it, but we kind of just.
We all know Jaina doesn't like Jesus, so.
Yeah, Jaina's not into him. which is fucking strange. And I think Leia digs him, and Selena's like, yeah, it seems fine. But like, we don't really get into it too heavy, which I'm down to. I'm down to have that discussion with them, but they don't really, you know what I mean? They'd rather talk about, a Dark Stalker and Icicle and all these dragons that I'm picking up their names of, none of which have as cool names as Briog or fucking Gorbash. I'll let you know that as well. But I think that's it. But anyway, so we did all the tricks and shit. I videotaped it. Then we have like the Easter egg hide, like inside the house with the hard-boiled eggs, and then we have the hunt outside the house. Like Easter's kind of a fun day. Like it's kind of a fun day here. Okay, so let's do our Rona romps. Joe, how was your Rona romp? We'll go opposite.
Well, I had, I guess, direct contact with a few positive patients. So
were you in any protective measures? Wearing any protective measures?
Just fucking gloves and goddamn surgical mask. The motherfucker, one of them got discharged because he was fine. Like he's tested positive, but like he's one of those like mild cases. So like instead of any kind of procedure, they just discharged him. So he just came up to the counter to pick up his meds. I'm like, okay then. And I knew because I looked on the meds list and I looked at his records. So I'm like, well, that's fun. And then had another motherfucker in my other job came in not wearing any kind of fucking protective gear, just shopping and buying stuff. And at the end, as he was checking out, making small talk, I was like, oh yeah, I had it. I was tested positive a few weeks ago. I feel fine. I'm like, okay.
I wonder, man, like, I really wish we could have got the test up and running a lot faster, because I do wonder how many people are presenting mild to no symptoms.
I mean, right. I mean, that is the main problem, really, is that people are presenting with mild to no symptoms. Those are the ones who's really spreading it.
Right. But I'm just curious, like, so like, because it affects the numbers, right? So if this thing has like a, I don't know, whatever it is that week, a 3.5% mortality rate, but that's only the people that are going in and getting tested and getting treatment or whatever the case may be. But when you compare those numbers, like if the numbers are far higher, because a lot of us aren't showing symptoms or the symptoms are mild enough where you would never seek medical treatment, I wonder, it would change the dynamics of how we view this thing.
Possibly.
I mean,
it's impossible to. It's impossible to like tell. I mean, even the flu, and we get a shit every year, and we can never fucking tell how many flu we have.
Right.
My boss was
more serious.
My boss was with me in New York in the second week of January, and he caught something that wasn't the flu and wasn't strep throat, but he felt like shit for a week, and it went away. But he's a healthy person in his 20s.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder, like, you hear about all these people like, man, I had this fucking wicked ass cough, like, in December or whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like,
yeah,
I do wonder, like, I don't know, because some of this shit, man, like, obviously, the bad situations are what they are, right? And there's no, there's no overcoming that.
Right.
But like, the fear level of like the normal American citizen, I wonder how justified it is.
I mean, if you look at the amount of deaths we have or hospitalizations we have, it's justified.
Well, that's my point, Joe. Is it justified? Is it justified if the number is 5%? Maybe. Is it justified if it's 0.003%?
No, I mean the rate doesn't even matter if you look at the quantity. Even if the rate is low, like the people are still dying in the hundreds.
Right, but
I don't know.
Let me ask this:
like the overall number does matter. Like if the hospitals are inundated and the death rate is only 0.5%, like the hospitals are still inundated. It doesn't matter.
But I mean, hospitals are inundated. Like New York is a specific beast, right?
Yeah.
But the hospitals are inundated all year long. Hospitals run out of beds all year long. Commonly. Every day. Every single day. Right?
But I don't know if it's the same, same, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm asking, though. Like, let's say that nobody knew, and I'm just for the sake of discussion, right? That nobody knew this thing was coming, that it wasn't a thing. How would we react to it?
What do you mean?
Like, the reason why everything is locked down is because we know there's this thing called the coronavirus that's coming over and causing an upper respiratory infection and is severe for the elderly, severe people with compromised immune systems or some significant medical history, et cetera, et cetera. So we know it's coming, and we take precautions because we know it's coming. But what does life look like have we not known it was coming, and do we even notice it? Or does it just mean like, God bless, man, the fucking flu is fucked this year?
Well, it would be, I mean...
Definitely noticeable. There's no way these numbers aren't noticeable.
So like New York aside, like Maryland hasn't exhausted their beds. And we were expected to.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just curious.
The thing that's getting me is people are posting like whatever county they live in or the state they live in, there's only this many. Well, it's 0.1% of the population has it in some, rural state in the Midwest. Yeah, that's because we're mitigating and things are working. Don't bash what we're doing because that's the problem. People are
like you said, Bobby, if we didn't know what's coming and we didn't do any kind of preparation,
we would. I mean, look what basically what happened in Wuhan. Right, that's what would have happened.
Right.
But what you're saying is like the nursing home that got all fucked up that's 4 miles from my fucking house. Somebody would have noticed that.
Yeah. How many?
Right, because that doesn't fucking happen on Tuesday.
How many die from a nursing home during flu season? Average. I'm curious about that now.
Well, everyone gets flu shots.
I would imagine it's pretty mandatory in an environment like that everyone has a flu shot.
I work in old people community. Like everyone gets flu shots.
Right, but that doesn't change my question though.
Well, I mean, the death rate is not the same. I mean, you can pull up the death rate numbers.
Well, that's what I'm curious of. Is like, and I'm not suggesting that it's the same, but I am like, just because there's a flu shot doesn't mean you don't get the fucking flu.
It mitigates it by a lot. It significantly cuts down on hospitalizations and deaths.
Right, but that's an X factor, right? Because you don't know what it would be without.
I guess.
Right, it's the same. It's like the death penalty, right? Like the death penalty is in Texas, so the violent crime rate is this, and it's this because the death penalty is in place. Well, maybe. But if you we don't know because you can't take the death penalty out of play and compare those numbers, right?
Let's look.
It's funny. I just Googled this, and the first thing that comes up is an article. Well, one of the first things that comes up. Basically, an article about how easy it is for the influenza, just the common flu, to get passed around a nursing home because of, guess what? All the reasons we're mitigating where we are now. Between 70 and 80% of seasonal flu deaths occur in people 65 and older from the CDC, and this is information from about a year ago.
Right.
So I don't have a good answer for you, Bobby, and I don't know who does.
Yeah, and I'm not even looking for one necessarily. I'm just talking with my buddies about it, like, because it's something that's going through my mind.
Yeah.
I'm just curious now. Like,
I mean, do you think? I guess we're just talking about our country specifically, right?
Well, it's only because it's all I know. I'm really just talking about my
state.
I'm
just thinking about like shit that what happened in Italy. Like, you think that's noticeable?
I don't know. I can't tell you because I don't know shit about it. But I do know that like our hospital beds run out. A close friend of mine works in the hospital. Hospital beds run out every day, usually like in any sort of popularized area, they run out every day, usually multiple times a day. And they're not running out at all. So like
here yet.
Well, I mean, we're heading into our higher numbers, and our numbers aren't even anywhere near as high as projected in Maryland. Now we are taking these precautions, right? But
that's because it's working.
But these projected numbers were with it working. The numbers are only projected on the social distancing. they're not projected for non-social distancing, like this specific state of Washington test or whatever. It was all built around the idea that we'd be locked down, I think, until August. And the numbers are far higher on the projections than they are for Maryland than they are for in reality. Like, I think our highest peak was initially supposed to be like 50 some deaths a day. No. I think it was like 138 deaths. And now it's down to like 50. And I think it just got dropped down to 30. Hold on, let me check. But like the more recent looks at it like are much closer, but they were like 50, 40, whatever. But then like just the other day they had it projected for 25 deaths, I think, like April 10th. And our actual number was 29. So like it's pretty accurate. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But let me see.
You know what's? I mean, the main thing that's changing it is the wind of God.
Yeah,
dude. Like it does. People like that's existing doesn't surprise me. But the amount of people that follows these people is what surprises me.
Yeah.
My great grandmother, God bless her soul, she died in the 80s. She sent Jimmy Swaggart $20 every time she got her money.
Yeah, you told me that. That's crazy, man.
Like, I don't understand. Those are the people I don't understand.
I'll tell you, I guess we moved into the Rona romp. I deal with a guy pretty regular through work who is Portuguese by descent and by birth. He's been here for 50 years or so, but he travels back to Portugal. He called me about a business matter, and I was just bullshitting with him, asking him how his mom was, because I think his mom had her like 90 or 100th birthday, and he had traveled over there last year for that. He told me that he was in Portugal when Trump made the declaration that they need everybody back home. It cost him $1,600 to get back.
Wow!
On top of the flight he had booked. But I was looking, and it made me think. I'm like, I haven't heard anyone mention Portugal, and like, they're nothing. I mean, it's inconsequential. They're predicting 500 deaths in the whole country.
A lot of countries are fine,
but nobody has mentioned Portugal. It's strange.
Yeah. I don't know. The numbers are interesting. The numbers are always interesting to me, and I think it's because
I don't read them very well.
Because it's like a foreign language, like it's like I'm looking at abstract art. But what is like I'm raising these questions in no way trying to say it's not a big deal, or that's not my intention at all. I'm just curious so let's say our hospitals are running out of beds multiple times a day because people are going to the hospital for tennis elbow. Do you know what I mean?
The emergency room. Like,
right, people are not educated on what to use the emergency room for.
No, but no. See, the thing is, they fucking are, because ever since this quarantine shit, like the emergency room has been dead. The only people who's in there are people with emergencies. And
right.
These motherfuckers didn't need. They fucking know they don't need to be there.
Right.
I mean, part of that goes back to people who don't have insurance know if they go to the emergency room, they'll get whatever they need. And I've known people who have gone to basically using the emergency room as their healthcare provider, and then just skipped out, given false information and gotten what they need and gone down their way.
Yep.
I'm not saying that people fall off ladders during wrestling matches that don't have insurance and do shit like that, but
Right. So that would suggest to me that our hospitals are not being overrun because people aren't going to the hospital for shit they don't need to go to the hospital for, and they're kind of dealing with it at home or going to a specialty center that's more appropriate, et cetera, et cetera. So if this shit was to be, on top of our normal everyday operations, we still would be running out of beds. But would we, New York City aside, would the common state, New York City is a unique beast in America, right? Like most of America is not like that. Yeah. So like if New York didn't exist and this was going on in Maryland with the amount of 14 extra deaths a day, 15 extra deaths a day during cold flu season, would it even hit our radar the way that it's hitting it? And I'm curious.
I mean, maybe not, because like our nationwide reporting is not the same. Right? Let me see. Right now in the U.S., the total deaths that's been confirmed is right near 23,000.
Right.
We had 843 deaths since the last 24 hours.
Right.
And the seasonal flu kills 12,000 a year now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, some yeah.
But this isn't killing just old people. I mean, you don't hear
the thing like
you don't hear people our age like, oh man, somebody we know that's in their 30s or 40s died from the flu.
No,
you don't hear that. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's not anybody. I can't say I've ever known someone who passed away from the flu.
No, I mean it's not like it never happens, but it's fucking ridiculous when it does. It's like off the wall. Like just like when you hear a 30-year-old die from a heart attack, it's like it happens, but like it's fucking crazy.
I saw a girl on the news this morning that was 21 and had a heart attack and was healthy.
Yeah, I remember a buddy of mine telling me about a guy that was like had a treadmill in his room. Like, health nut, no medical history, dropped dead of a heart attack, friend of his. No family history, no nothing. Just went to sleep, never woke up at 34 years old.
You don't hear people. I haven't heard any stories of nurses or fucking doctors catching the flu from their patient and dying either.
Yeah, me either.
That's not the case with this.
Definitely not the case.
I think that's one thing that would have hit the radar is when nurses and doctors would have started to get sick and dying in the hospital over a respiratory distress.
I saw a pretty amazing piece of art. I meant to share it to Raul so he could put it up on our IG, but it was like a nurse, it was a comic book style drawing. And it was like a nurse standing profile with like this huge monster coronavirus looking thing, but it had
flipping the bird off.
Yeah, flipping the bird off. You saw that?
Yeah, I saw that make the rounds yesterday. That's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing piece. Pretty amazing piece. But yeah, no, I hear you. But I also feel like, so I was reading. There was somebody in New Jersey. Emergency. It's like a first responder. I don't know if it was fire or police or EMS or whatever the case may be, but they were 33 years old and they died of it, right? And I was like, God damn, man! What a fucking kick in the balls. But then I looked into it and there was a serious medical condition underlying it, and I'm like, okay, well then that's, so that same person catches the flu, the risks are higher. Not comparing the flu and the corona, but I'm just saying if we didn't know there was a corona, some of this shit I'm not sure how much we'd catch. I'm glad that we have, don't get me wrong, and I'm glad that we're doing the social distancing. I'm not sure how long we're going to be able to maintain it. How long do you think we can maintain this? How long do you think we need to?
Well, I saw I most mornings when I get up, I watch the Today Show, good, bad, or otherwise. And they had a segment on there today about the farming industry, and what the impact of the restaurants and schools being closed. I mean, they were, I don't know how many acres, probably hundreds of acres of green beans. They were just tilling them under because they can't sell them, and they were, milk's getting literally just poured out places because they can't sell it. There's nowhere to sell it. And the thing is, the broken process is, we have food banks that desperately need food to get to people, and there's no process to get that food to people who need it. Right. Which is just heartbreaking.
I mean, I don't know. This is bringing out a lot of problems we have in society. A lot of us have always known exist, but this is just bringing it to light that, hey man, it's time to fucking change the way we do things.
I'm gonna make a change.
What do you think? Because most of the stuff that I've read suggests August for how long the social distancing needs to continue. But that's definitely not going to be what happens.
What happens is when we have a fucking cure for this fucking thing.
Well,
it's just fucking spitballing and bullshit and
no. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. Like, this wasn't suggesting that it goes away, but it was suggesting in order to have a lasting impact, the social distancing needs to continue until August.
Right. And I don't know. Like that's what I mean. Like I don't know where people are coming up with these numbers because like until the majority of the population has been infected or you have a vaccine, like it's one or the other.
But that aside, when do you think they're going to open the doors? They're not going to close it.
I think
they're not going to keep it closed till August. That's not going to happen.
Trump does his stand-up routine every afternoon, and afterwards they do the questions, and that question gets asked every day, and the answer is we don't know every day.
Right, but I'm asking you guys, what do you think? When do you think they're going to lift it?
So I look at it this way. I look at what I do for a living and what that entails. Now, granted, you guys are on the front lines and you deal with people every day. My situation is different because I deal with different people, and don't take this the wrong way by any means, because what I do for a living is horribly unimportant compared to what you both do. I don't know what my job's going to look like going forward. I really don't. I've thought a lot about that.
Right.
Like, I mean, I ride in other people's vehicles
right
all the time. I go into other people's facilities all the time. And if you've ever had a vehicle worked on by a mechanic, you've been in their shop and seen.
Right.
They're not bleaching the floor very much.
Not at all.
So what, right now they haven't given us they rolled out today a 5-week plan for us just to work with some stuff to work. Basically, I think it's keep your sanity for 5 weeks by trying to do this stuff every day. So that gives us till May 15th. What's it look like at May 15th? I don't know. Realistically, I think August. I mean, I think the whole summer. It's going to ruin the economy. It's going to, yeah. But our grandchildren are going to be paying this debt back. But
it's
already paying.
It's so much more. I don't even know how to fucking get out of my mind. I don't know things enough, right? I don't know. I'm not an economist. I just know that fucking money and the quote unquote economy and the stock market is a fucking made up thing. It doesn't really mean anything. It's like time. It doesn't mean anything except we put a fucking meaning on it.
Well, even leaving that part of it alone, Joe.
Resources, labor in the world exists for us to keep going. Like, I don't know, man. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's just, things gotta fucking change, man. Like for everyone in their mind is trying to get things or wondering when things will get back to the way they were, and they want to get back to things the way they were. And I'm like, no, man, we can't do this shit anymore. And the fact that is, we fucking knew this was coming. How many fucking pandemic movies have we had in the last 20 years? How many fucking sci-fi or novels or books have we talked about and scientists have always talked about, just like meteors? Eventually, a meteor's going to fucking hit us. No one's going to do anything about it till it's too late, just like this fucking thing right here.
I mean, love him or hate him, George W. Bush talked about this like in 2005. His biggest fear was this shit happened.
This will happen. This will happen again, for sure. This always happened before. And we have no fucking system in place to do anything about it. And not only that, like, people still don't take it seriously until they're affected. Just like one of my coworkers. They were talking about how everyone's overacting and all this fucking bullshit, and then her fucking cousin died. Like, okay, now I care.
And that's the sad reality of it is a lot of people won't take this seriously until it affects them personally.
And no, it's not that. It's until it's too fucking late. You know what I mean? Like the world's not going to end. We said this before, like a couple months ago, Bobby. Like when we first started discussing this, and we were saying how some people are taking it too seriously and some people are taking it too lax. It's just still the same fucking thing. The world is not going to fucking end. This is not going to kill us all. Like it's going to fucking fuck up the economy or whatever. But like that's not something that's irreplaceable or irreparable.
Right. But so let me say this. I think May 1st at the earliest, June 1st at the latest. That's my prediction. I don't think that they will put this. I don't think they will keep this ban on any longer than that.
They can't. I realize that they can't. But the question is, what best case scenario? They open everything up and it's fine. The numbers stay the same. Like we're fucking still going towards projection, and like people will still die. Unfortunately,
there's still going to be. like you said, Joe, things aren't ever going to be the same. Like,
Mhm.
there's probably going to be, okay, Walmart, Black Friday, you better shop online because they still ain't letting 50 people in the store at a time. And don't be a dumbass and line up. I mean, concerts. We may not any social events.
Yeah.
I mean, we're lucky we all live close to each other because God bless all these people I've met over the past 10 years. We may never see these motherfuckers in person again.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
No, I hear you. Culturally, that is something interesting to me. Like, if you would have told me in November of 2019 that in November of 2020 I'll be wearing a mask to the grocery store, I would have laughed you out of the room. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
But like, it's going to be common. Like, masks. If you wore a mask in America, you were a fucking weirdo. Or, well,
Hey, shout out to Anna for being a trendsetter. She wore a mask.
that's true.
Asian people do. That's a thing we've been doing all the time.
Well, and I wore a mask too, to be fair. But but like, you were a weirdo, right? You were a weirdo, or you were a pussy. Like that's the problem. Kids don't eat enough dirt, right? Like, that's, we take a little bit of pride.
I see that in comments and stuff. And the problem is, like, that has a grain of truth in it, and a little bit of facts are the dangerous thing.
Right. Right. But the thing is that going forward, like, me having to tell Leia that at some point in her life people used to not wear masks at a grocery store is going to bug her out when she's 20.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Jane will be like, no, I remember it. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's going to be a thing. That's crazy. Like, that's a cultural change.
I feel like it's going to be much. It's going to look a lot like Asia land here. Like, but like, not everyone's going to wear masks, but it's not going to be uncommon to see.
I'll tell you, man.
That's a fashion thing too.
Yeah. I mean,
well, that's a lot of people are gonna. I'm waiting on Kanye's mask.
Yeah, the Yeezy with the
The
holes
Yeezy
in it.
mask. Well, you know what's the funny thing about it is there's a guy on YouTube named Yeezy Busta who basically he started out by making fun of celebrities that are wearing fake Yeezys and posting them up, and he wears a mask because I guess whatever his real job is, he doesn't want his face out there, so he wears a surgical mask and was selling them 2 years ago that said Yeezy Busta. So it's kind of funny that's awesome. Here we are now.
So look, we can move off the Rona Romp and into fun stuff, but I just want to close Rona Romp with a joke. So,
sounds great, Bobby.
So two things. Jana came downstairs the other day and she said, "Hey, what are the best kind of jokes to tell during quarantine?" And I was like, "What?" She said, "Inside jokes." So that was good.
Woo.
And then secondly, we were sitting at the table today, and they were Leia was like, "I want to go somewhere," and we are like, "Well, we're not going there." It was like, "But I want to go there." It's like, "Well, why can't we go?" And it was like, "Well," and Selena was like, "The coronavirus." She's like, "Coronavirus?" And then Selena said, "Yep, it's an invisible enemy." Which was pretty great. Nerd Weeks. I'll go first real quick. I only have a few. I watched Holy Man.
Who?
Holy Man. It's a it's an Eddie Murphy movie. I watched it with the kids.
Damn, you're digging deep, brother.
I've seen it. I know. I
know what it is too, and I'm telling you, you got out the shovel and the spade.
We're running out.
Backhoe.
We're running out for sure. But what was funny while we were watching it, the baby's like laying in my arms, right, and she's like rubbing my left arm, like the forearm, and it's because like the arm hair, and so I just looked over at it. I was like, "Is it hairy?" And she went, "Mm-hmm. You a Harry Potter."
Wow.
Let's see, and then and then we watched Mortal Kombat last night.
Yes.
Look.
Don't shit on it.
Look. You know how Rona, you know how I have said to you guys in the past that I am not cut of the cloth where something can be so bad that it's good?
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat might be the exception to the rule for me.
There you go.
So it's not good.
It is not.
It's not. Even the first one is not.
No. The second one is not. It doesn't go back to good again. It's just bad.
The second one, yeah.
The first one goes back around to being good again.
Yeah, it's not good, but it's still it's a fun romp. It's a fun watch, especially if you like have any connection to the characters, like seeing them on the screen. There's still certain things that work for me about it though. Like when I was watching it, like when they're on the ship heading to Shang Tsung Land, when Sub-Zero and Scorpion like come out of the door and it's like kind of in slow motion almost, and like they both square up. Like it still feels good to me. I
mean, it's pretty accurate. I feel like. I mean, the game doesn't have really that much lore, but like it's pretty true to
I agree.
Spirit at the time.
I agree. Scorpion like coming into frame in that forest, like where all the trees are equidistant to one another.
Yeah.
That still works for me. Sub-Zero making the coming down the steps, like and fighting Liu Kang, that still works for me. There was a number of like little scenes that still work for me, but overall it's really bad. I even like when like the Jane and she was like, oh, the digital effects are hard to look at because they're bad, dude. Reptile looks ridiculous. Scorpion spear looks ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that spirit monster thing is
it's bad. And the one part of it that stands out to me the most, like the worst effect shot, is when the spear wraps itself around the tree and is trying to break loose from the tree. The digital rope is like scratching the tree bark off of the tree. Yep. It's a really bad spear. It's a really bad rope. The flakes of metal coming off of the rope look really bad, and the bark coming off of the tree looks really bad, and the scratch marks underneath the bark coming off of the tree looks bad. Like the whole thing just looks fucking bad.
Shamon.
Yeah, but yeah, for sure. But that was about it for me. What about you, Chris? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. One more thing. I finished a Naboo diorama and super happy with it. Works beautifully, like fits in, displays well. One of those things where it all kind of, and I think it is my best wall work. Like the paint job is super believable. And I was just trying some things on it, like effects wise, but like the texture of the walls looks fantastic. So anyway, it's one of my favorites that I've done. And also on Patreon, I've been posting these pictures of playing the guessing game. So now on Patreon, if you guess what it is, the first person to guess what it is gets
That's not Raul.
No, even Raul, he's on the list. It gets a free gift that I'm going to mail out as soon as the Roni isn't hanging around the post office.
Nice.
So I'm keeping a list. Caleb won the Naboo one, and Raul won the Spider-Man one.
I'll be honest with you. I was impressed by what you had done, but that didn't immediately tell me that that's what the diorama was. I couldn't tell. That's why I asked what it was.
Oh yeah, you said what is it?
I didn't get it. I mean, the work's great, and I think you were right. It is by far your best brickwork, paint wise and everything.
Thanks.
Which you have. I know you hadn't done a ton of brickwork.
No.
But I can tell you've been paying attention, Bobby.
Well, it's like I just tried this technique instead of like like I painted it, I washed it, and then I just used like a really old beat up brush and dry brushed it, but I didn't dry brush it like traditionally. I just sort of like slammed the brush down into it, and I used like 3 or 4 different shades of color, and it started to kind of take shape. Yeah, I'm really happy with that one. I wish I had more figures to put in it. That's kind of my problem these days.
You don't have enough figures. That's your fucking problem.
You just need battle droids.
Yeah, I could put the battle droids.
Are you going to talk about your purchase at all?
Not yet. I want to keep that. I want to keep that one in the tuck. I want to keep that one in the tuck for right now. But I supporting the economy. Maybe I support the economy for better or worse.
Fair enough.
All right. I'm sorry, Chris.
Did people get their monies already? You're talking about you already got your money?
Chris got his, right? I didn't get
Well, I got a notice of it pending. Yeah, so and a guy I work with that lives in and honestly we figured it would go alphabetically, so we would be kind of, middle of the pack, but if you did direct deposit for your taxes in 2018, your 2018 taxes that you filed last year, then they're hitting your direct deposit. They're not, if you needed a paper check to come, you may be waiting a month.
So I did direct deposit, and I've done my 2018 and 2019 taxes,
Chill off.
I just haven't done it. I've so slacked this year because I knew it was not.
Honestly, we had ours ready, and like, nah, we better not. We'll just wait and see what happens.
And we haven't heard a thing about our money. That maybe they're trying to carry the one on us.
How does that work? Does anyone actually know? Because I've been hearing that you actually have to pay that shit back.
Pay what back? This money we're getting?
Yeah.
No, you'll have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of dumb. But anyway,
I wish they would take it now.
You pay it back with your as a forward of your next tax return or some shit like that.
I don't think so.
Okay, that's cool.
Well, yeah, I don't think it works.
I don't understand how why they would tax money they're giving you. Like they're using tax money to give you this money out, right?
I found out recently that they tax unemployment, and I did not realize that.
Like I understand the reason for tax, and I'm about paying taxes, but like some shit that is just not right. Like how are you gonna pay taxes on your tax return?
Well, you have to pay
that.
You pay federal tax on your.
They owe you money, so they're giving it back to you. But on the way of giving it back to you, they're gonna tax that shit too. But that's like money you took out that you shouldn't have taken out in the first place. Why are you taxing? I don't understand. But anyway, that's more of the things we're talking about where system shouldn't be the same. Needs changing.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Anything they can do to take less taxes, I'm with the shits on that, Joe. So let me know where that petition is.
Yeah.
But anyway, Chris, continue.
What day is it?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't. You guys are leaving and going, and I'm not. I mean, I don't think I left. No, I left the house one day this week. I had to go to the post office, which they've got limit 8 people in the post office. They've got it all marked off. They've got shower curtains, bless their hearts, in front of them. And I just drop stuff off and get it scanned. I don't have to have a long interaction. And, they only take cash. I'm sorry, they don't take cash, rather. They only take cards, which is good for them. I've been craving McDonald's. I don't know why. And I saw they had the double Big Mac. I'm like, okay. I'm going to eat it at home. And I think McDonald's has probably got some stock in Charmin because that ran through me like Hulkamania ran through the 80s, brother. But it was delicious and surprisingly easy to eat. I was like, oh, my God, it's going to be so much food. But those Big Mac patties are so thin. It was just basically like eating a double quarter pounder.
Yeah, I never eat Big Macs. I like the Big Mac for the sauce, but like actual like meat and bread ratio, quarter pounder is better. So you can try if next time you for some reason want McDonald's, get a quarter pounder with but basically they'll put the mac sauce on anything. Yeah. So you can get a quarter pounder with mac sauce and those pickles and the diced onion. See, I know that you can ask for things at fast food places, like to alter the menu, but like those people haven't dropped enough, man. I don't have to give them extra directions. That's how.
He's so funny. Give him extra directions.
I like tomatoes, right? So, but I never ask for no tomatoes on my shit. I just take it out once I get it.
Oh my God, dude!
I don't want to fucking burden those people at minimum wage any more than they already are.
Okay, fair enough.
That's just how I it's a me thing.
I tell you, I'm not even so just to paint the picture of me not trying to downplay this thing earlier in the conversation. I'm not even comfortable getting food out. Like I'm not. Really? Yeah, like we've cut ourselves off. Like everything gets cooked at our house now. Like, and no judgment to anyone else. Like, I don't care. I applaud you, but like we're not bold enough. I guess like we're not brave enough to do it. Like I don't know who's breathing on this thing and handling this thing and everything else. Like
yeah.
Who breathed on my burrito?
And there's the title.
That's what Eddie Murphy. It sounds like something from Eddie Murphy. By the way, total sidebar. But when you get to Norbit, you've gone too far. I love that movie though because he plays the healthy lady and she comes to the water park and the guy's like she's got on a 2-piece bathing suit and the guy says, "Ma'am, are you wearing bottoms?" And she says, "Of course I'm wearing bottoms." And that just always cracked me up for some reason.
Did you already do Dr. Doolittle and Nutty Professor?
We did Nutty Professor 1. We're taking a break before we embark on the sequel. And we have not done Doolittle yet. We're supposed to watch the Sonic movie here soon.
It's pretty decent if you like Sonic.
Yeah, we're supposed to watch it here soon. I just it keeps getting put off.
I'm trying to think what I've watched this week, and but I'm gonna be honest, it's literally a blur. I'm caught up on Dave, which I don't know if you guys have had a chance to watch Dave yet. It's the Little Dicky show.
Yeah, you were talking about it last week, and it's about his loosely kind of on his life.
Right. So this last episode, so the big break he's gotten is he's gonna open for Meek Mill in Philly, where he's from, not Alabama. And he goes to his parents' house and it's very funny the way they frame it up.
Nice. I've heard good things about it. I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. So I caught up on that. I watched the quarantined Saturday Night Live episode they did. I don't know if you guys heard about this.
No.
So basically, it was nobody knew what they were going to do. They basically everybody filmed skits in their house. Tom Hanks hosted it, which
wow.
And he said something like, "I'm the official dad spokesman of the coronavirus because I'm old and nobody wants to be around me, and when they are, it's really awkward."
Wow.
The funniest skit they did was, in the world we live in now, everybody's doing these teleconference calls, and Zoom is a big thing, and they've got these two characters that are on there. It's I don't remember the actresses that play them, but basically they're like the older receptionists at this IT firm or something that don't know how to use any of the technology. So now they're on Zoom and they don't know how to use anything. And the one girl, she takes the laptop and sits it in the bathroom floor while she goes to the bathroom.
Wow.
One woman's taking her shirt off. It was entertaining for what it was. I mean, some of it was like, I'm just trying to get through it. And they had Chris Martin from Coldplay. He played a song and everything, but that was entertaining. We watched a movie called Onward. It's on Disney Plus. It's a Pixar movie, actually.
Is that the troll one?
It's not the Trolls movie, but
it's about trolls.
It's something there. Yes, it's set in a fantasy kind of world. It's kind of mythic, actually. It was good. It was really good. I enjoyed it. The kid, well, not the kids. Charlie enjoyed it. So
they watched it here. I don't think it went over well here. But
really,
yeah. But they did watch it. They watched it one day when I was working.
Huh. Might have not just appreciated the mythicness of it.
Maybe not.
But I will say that I think they fleshed out a pretty cool world that they could do some more with. I don't know what that'll look like in the future. Let's see. I did a live stream building a hallway little diorama, and
you've been doing more and more of them. How are they working out?
Working out is me doing them, and if people want to watch them, they can. My problem is I get lost in what I'm doing, and I'm 2 hours in, and who's going to sit there and watch me do something for 2 hours?
Right.
So I try to limit it.
What do you mean? Who's going to sit? Oh, never mind.
No. What were you saying, Joe?
Joe watches that type of shit for 2 hours. What do you mean, people?
Okay, let me get on my soapbox again here for a minute. Like the life I've been living and talking about is the life we're living now, and is the way of the future. You don't need cash. The people are like, I need cash just in case shit happens and bank goes down and I still have something. No, if that shit happens, cash doesn't mean anything. What was it? Old pictures of people with wheelbarrows of cash trying to buy bread. I don't know if that's real or not. Remember seeing that?
But that was just because shit was expensive, though, right?
Yeah, because the economy was completely collapsed. I think it was in Russia or some shit. Like the point is, like, if credit cards don't work anymore, your cash ain't gonna mean shit. And like fucking brick and mortar store mostly doesn't need to exist because you can buy everything online. And fucking sitting there and watching streams and things online without going out is also the way to go. My life hasn't changed not just because it's a job thing. Like, my lifestyle hasn't changed because I've already been living this lifestyle of, like, I guess quarantine and minimal unnecessary contact with people. But, like, yes, people will, if you're streaming, like Twitch or whatever, like, I guess neither one of you uses Twitch.
I mean, I'm fully aware of Twitch, Joe. And
I mean, have you watched it? Do you use it?
I don't use it because I haven't found any content on it that I'm interested in watching.
I agree. And honestly, I before I really even geared up to do a YouTube channel, I looked at doing a Twitch channel.
Yeah.
Instead,
you can just turn it on and just have it point at your desk or your workshop, and you just do shit for 2 hours, and people will.
Right, but I mean, but that's you can do that with anything. Like, the reason, I mean, you can do that with anything, though, Joe. Like the reason why I would never do that is because I'd rather I'd rather just have music playing in the background than watch some dude play jacks by himself. For
No. You're not watching. A lot of people are, and me saying this is not for you to watch. I'm just asking if you watch to see if you're familiar. But like Pinkerton was saying, no one wants to watch me for 2 hours just doing shit. Like, no, people do, and you can make money off of it because people can either people throw money at random things. I don't know. And or subscriptions.
Are you talking about using it through
on Twitch specifically? Like people like on stream can just randomly give you $1 or whatever, or like after you monthly.
So I'll give you some real life data here. The last live stream I did, which was I think right in an hour. I think it was an hour and 10 minutes because I was being cognizant of the time because I didn't want to make it super long. As in the last 3 days and 8 hours, it's had 100 views, and the average view time is 13 minutes.
On YouTube?
YouTube.
That's a different platform.
Okay, but I'm talking.
No, Joe,
I understand. I don't understand.
I would be willing to look at those numbers across platforms, Joe. I would be willing to compare those numbers across platforms. It's not like people are saying, "Look, I'm going to watch Twitch for 2 hours because I can't stand looking at YouTube for 2 hours." Do you know what I mean? It's just like we always talk about it, right? That people's attention spans and what they want to watch, it gets shorter and shorter and shorter, which is why you got TikTok is like the #1 fucking social media platform right now because it's like 10-second videos.
Right, and there's a new one called Quibi or something, 10-minute videos. But I mean, like I'll tell you, since I've been doing this, the first one of those live streams I did, the average view duration was 8 minutes, and I just got 600 views.
Because you're also like new though, right? You're building it. If you're building it, you're. Like,
I know, and the channel's growing.
Yeah, if you've only done it for 3 times, and you're getting how many views?
In the last 28 days, I mean, that video has gotten 610 views. And in a video I did reviewing some figures that hardly anybody else looked at, has gotten at 351 views in the past 28 days.
So yeah, I mean, like Bobby always said, like with like building channels and brands, and so it's just consistency. Like
Yeah.
it is. That's
sure.
I mean, and honestly, that's part of the reason I've been just pumping shit out. Just to,
But I also think it's good to be looking at that shit. Like I didn't start looking at that shit till probably 3 or 4 years in. You know what I mean? I think it's great that you're looking at the numbers and fine tuning your shit already. Like that's fucking awesome.
Well, I mean, part of that is I've been looking at the Realm shit for 5 years,
Right,
so I kind of can tell, what works and what doesn't. So.
And the length also depends on the content type.
For sure, for sure.
No one wants to watch someone just, review a movie for 3 fucking hours. But if you're doing something for 2 hours, someone will watch it.
And then, like, here's something like, I mean, I don't know this. If I get to a point where they are paying me, pennies on the dollar or however it works, is if somebody watches 5 minutes of my hour-long video, does that pay out different than if somebody watches 5 minutes of a 7-minute video?
Yes.
Okay, which is better?
5 minutes of a 7-minute video.
Okay, and that, if I'm looking at it from that standpoint, then maybe I should be doing this. Hey, this is how you do dry brushing video.
Yeah, I mean,
hey,
I think
this is how you do.
I think that you should experiment. Do you know what I mean? Like when you do these live streams, because live streams are definitely the fastest, quickest way to go, right?
Right. I don't have to edit anything.
Correct.
I can just get to it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like, I think you should just experiment, try different shit, like task stuff or specific things. Even if you were going to work on one project and do okay, so you have 3 projects that you got to get done that are high priority, and then you got kind of this little passion thing on the side that you want to do. Maybe the passion thing you do the live stream of for 10 to 20 minutes or whatever it is on task by task just to get that done over the course of a month. You know what I mean? And then you can look at that data later and be like, okay, people really like the painting stuff, or people really like the building stuff, or you know what I mean? And fine tune it. I mean, I think it's great.
Yeah, and like, I lost my train of thought, but I am looking at it and just kind of keeping up with what's what, and I guess I probably spend too much time looking at how many people are watching it live because it's not a huge amount,
right?
Because people do watch it over time, but I've been doing that, and honestly, like I was gonna do another one, but I'm like, those are fun to do, but it's just it's almost lonely because you don't talk to anybody. You're talking to yourself basically. I mean, I try to interact with the chat, so I just dropped like in the Realm group, dropped a Hangout link and just it wasn't broadcasted, but I was working on stuff and we did one the other day, and Tyler was working on a 3D print project, painting something, and a couple other people were just working on projects. So it was just a cool vibe. I mean, I had it. Remind me after we get off of here. I have an idea I want to run past you guys in that vein.
Okay.
So,
did you watch that bonus Tiger episode?
Is it out?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I know it's just interviews. I'll probably watch it after we get off of here. To be honest, I didn't realize it had come out yet.
I watched the first 15 minutes of it. It's kind of trash.
Well, I know it's just Joel McHale interviewing people.
Yeah, it's. I couldn't take it.
Kind of like how did this change your life? Kind of deal. I know what one dude. The guy with the McRib teeth got his grill,
and it's like an Enter the Realm show. Like they're like that's how they do it. You know what I mean?
It's like on the Zoom call. Or whatever. That's what I'm talking about. Did anybody take the computer in the toilet or anything?
Not during the 15 minutes that I could stomach.
Damn, that's too bad.
Joe,
I didn't do shit.
Other than the game.
I have my week. I'm playing like 3. It's great, man. I'm taking so much time off. I'm playing 3 games at the same time. I'm playing my Fate Grand on my phone, and I'm playing Last Days on Earth on my phone, and I'm playing Final Fantasy VII on the PS4 all at the same time. And I paid my July mortgage this last Friday, so I don't have any bills to do August, man. I'm taking all kinds of time off. Like
Good
this
for
week,
you, man.
I'm working Wednesday and Saturday and Sunday, and that's the fuck it.
Good for you, dude. You need it.
Yeah.
Living the dream, man.
I am. I mean, that's what I always wanted. Like I work all the extra hours so I can build up, a good amount for the rainy day, and now it's kind of a rainy day.
Yeah, for
for
sure.
a lot of people. So.
And you know what I mean, and limit your exposure.
People understand me more now. Like now that it's like why I do it, because I always told you about it. Like I'm always worried. I never feel like I have stability or that I'm taken care of. So like I work hard to get ahead.
Right, but you could make the argument that right now you're more stable than ever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because your job is more needed now than ever. So.
Right, but the principle of what I'm doing makes sense to people now.
But I think that it's it limits your exposure too. You know what I mean? That's why I'm happy to hear it. You know, personally.
Because we're talking about. We're talking about like when this first thing, what you're like, how American medical system is great, and I'm like, certain places, yes, but definitely not a lot of places I work.
Well, let me say, I don't think that the medical system is great. I think that we have very talented, skilled medical professionals.
Yeah, you're talking about the top percentages, yes, but like the average everyday, hospital worker, man, like they aren't. They're just people too.
Of course.
So like I said, like shit. Even now, that really has me scratching my head. Like they're the ones I've seen wearing the fucking surgical mask under the nose.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's good. I'm not in the mix as much.
Do you have any DSAs this week?
No, I don't think so.
So I have one for you, something I've seen in my outings. So for those listening, a surgical mask has 2 straps on the side, and they are to fit firmly around your left and right ears. They are vastly different than an N95 that has also 2 straps, but they are meant to go around your head. If you are wearing an N95 with the 2 straps wrapped firmly around each ear, you'll notice that the metal part that's supposed to fold over your nose is now sitting alongside your cheek. You are wearing it wrong. Take it off and put it on properly.
I don't know why people bother wearing. I feel like I feel like some people are just wearing it just to not get in trouble with I don't know, the public.
Yeah.
I saw a lady at.
They definitely don't look like they care about actually wearing it. They just have it on because it's mandatory, I think.
I saw a lady at Home Depot working, like one of the managers at Home Depot, my Home Depot adventure last week, that was wearing a surgical mask below her nose.
Yep.
Yeah, it's dude, I told you that one guy. I literally had to tell him, and he was like, yeah, it fogs up my glasses though.
I've heard that so much, to fog up my glasses thing. I'm like, okay, then don't fucking just let somebody else have that mask. Don't waste it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give it to somebody who can use it. My wife was telling me that there's been a load of fake N95 masks that have.
Of course, like everything.
Yeah, there's been
like it's awful humans that takes advantage of any bad situation, man.
So if your surgical mask or your N95 or your P100 says Takasa Tony on it, just send it back.
Oh wow!
What if it says Fans Toys though?
What if it says fourth party?
No, fourth party's got to go back. If Fans Toys is third party, you're allowed to accept it.
In some cases, the Fans Toys mask might be better than the.
Yeah. What about the N95 Plus?
Or you get it N95 and it's oversized. You're like, what the fuck?
It's okay. It's okay. Chuck says the bigger ones are better anyway.
Right. I'm sure.
You have a big face. I guess a big head. You need an oversized one.
I feel like there was something else I wanted to. There was my last question to you guys, and then we're off of the Rona and into the notes. As of right now, the current lockdown that we're on is only through the end of April, correct?
I guess.
I think so. So
is it, wait, I just heard this weekend at my other job that everyone has to wear a mask to go into a place of establishment now?
I don't know.
I don't know that Maryland did that.
It's Maryland, I think. Well, I was told that like if someone's not wearing a mask, they can't come in.
I don't know. But
I know Jersey did that. I didn't know that Maryland had done it.
So let me ask you this. If it is extended, when do you think we'll hear from Hogan? And when do you think we'll hear from Trump?
What do you mean? If it's extended,
So I don't remember the day. I think it's through the end of April. So let's just say that for argument's sake, if May 1st is when it all is supposed to be lifted. If it is to be extended, which I'm guessing it's going to be, but if it is to be extended, what day in April do you think we'll hear from Trump? What day in April do you think we'll hear from Hogan?
Middle of probably by Friday. Yeah, from Hogan. If we're gonna extend it.
So,
yeah, I'm thinking the middle of next week, to be honest.
Okay, so I asked you guys this because Laura and I were talking about it yesterday, and it's so funny. So I am with you, Joe. I think that we're going to hear from Hogan by the 17th, and I'm guessing we'll hear from Trump on the 24th. Laura is with you, Chris. She thinks that we'll hear from both by mid next week. The only reason why I'm guessing Friday for both, and I'm guessing for Logan to be Logan. I'm guessing that Hogan will hear from first because he's kind of been ahead of it for the most part.
Oh, he is ahead. He's also a thumb.
That's true too.
But he's a good governor.
I think the government likes to give you bad news on a Friday.
I think you're correct.
Yeah.
I will tell you that the Carroll County school system is already looking at how to do remote learning next school year.
So is Frederick.
Yeah.
So is Frederick. All right. So into these notes. There's not a ton, but there's a couple worth talking about. For one, mad props to a legend, and of course, rest in peace to Mort Drucker, the artist behind the Mad Magazine caricatures and character. He is dead at 91. So, great run. I wonder what he died from. I can't see because it's the New York Times, and they want me to subscribe to them, and I'm not subscribing to anyone. The last thing I want is another email to delete.
I think he broke his funny bone, and then never recovered.
Oh, you! Fucking. I remember when I was at so we had a mopping contract on this building. It was a fun little tidbit, and as we were there, the building was closed, right? And we had entry keys and stuff to get in. We go around, and there's a car sitting beside it that it's only the frame left and scorch marks all around it. Like somebody just burned this thing to the ground in the middle of this parking lot. So we called like a non-emergency number for the fire department for whatever county it was in, I forget. And they sent a fire marshal or investigator or somebody to the scene. Yeah, fire marshal Bill. So he's out there and he's looking at, well, the police came with him. And so here I am, I'm sitting off to the side. I see this fire marshal guy and I see this cop standing next to each other. And the cop looks at him and says, "What happened?" And I heard this fire marshal dude say, he looked at him for a second, like, and didn't say a word. And then he said, "Flat tire, got out of hand."
Awesome.
Anyway, so on to more stuff. Mera in the pin. So Johnny Depp, the whole Amber, what's her name? Amber Heard.
Amber Heard.
Yeah. So she's facing prison time if she's found guilty of manipulating evidence against her ex-husband Johnny Depp.
And you know what? He needs. His career took a hit because of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
He lost income because like he needed it, but nonetheless, in his reputation.
His reputation, though, like, and when he was like, can you imagine being the victim, but then being blamed on as being the aggressor?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, like that's like, I don't know, psychological fucking damage.
He shut the fuck up about it though, right? Like, which I think is the right move. Like,
yeah, he didn't really say shit about it.
Good for him. Like, because if he would come up, it's not true. If somehow I feel like it would have made him look worse. But he kind of just let the I let the facts come out. Like,
he's like, he did say, he was like, I just really don't want. I just don't want people to know I'm a bitch. Because you know what? Because what he said was she would put on the Hustle and Flow soundtrack and just beat him with a belt. Whoop that trick, get him. Whoop that.
Now, what if she caught him in bed with Helen Bonham Carter or whatever her name is?
Well, Siri picked up Whoop That Trick and is asking me what I want to do with it. Fuck you, Siri. It's none of your damn business what I want to do with it.
My wife just lost power at work.
Oh, wait, I had a brownout just now. Did you?
Yeah. We had a couple little flickers, and actually your audio cut out for just a second, and I was like, I bet you it's all related. That's all we need is the power to go out. God bless. So yeah, I mean, I hope that justice is served. Quick trouble.
No Aquaman though, right?
Yeah, which is a bummer because she's one of the better parts of it, like in my opinion.
And for Bobby, it's the material that counts.
Ultimately,
she's like, I don't care if she fucking beats him with a baseball bat. She needs to be in the next movie.
Yeah. Make sure the content is right, Joe. So quick trouble. Apparently, Ezra Miller did some video, or like, I think it was a spoof where he was like choking out a fan. Look, I'll read it.
I didn't see that it was a spoof. I saw that they got him on like video choking somebody out.
Oh, was it real?
In like a yeah.
Oh,
from what I understood, it was like security footage of him choking somebody out.
Well, then fuck him.
In a bar or something.
Yeah.
So it's claimed Warner Brothers is considering canceling the Flash movie following the controversial video from Sunday that showed Ezra Miller choking a female fan. God.
And this is what it takes, Ezra. This is what it takes for them to finally cancel this movie. You choking some broad out. Of all things, this is what it takes.
According to Lords of the Long Box, scooper Mikey Sutton has a source at Warner Brothers. Everybody has their own source. It said that Warner Brothers is currently investigating what really happened at the bar in Iceland where Miller chokes and pushes a female fan to the ground, with Miller allegedly drunk at the time.
What if you asked for it and she was like, this is my fantasy, can you do this?
They should just let him go because he broke social distance.
They should both be arrested for breaking social distancing. It's a misdemeanor here to like be driving and not be heading anywhere essential. I heard that somewhere.
I mean, that's yeah. I have a fucking official letter that says I'm allowed to go to work.
Yeah,
I keep it in my car.
It's $1,000 fine and a misdemeanor. Crazy. I just saw a meme.
And the rules, I guess, but then like people are just strolling in packs at in fucking Chevy Chase in the parks, like just having picnics and shit, and nobody cares.
I just saw a meme that said, "Boy, I hope we're off quarantine by July 4th so we can celebrate our freedom."
That's fair. That's fair.
All right, so Jim Lee's doing big things. Jim Lee has been drawing and auctioning pieces and then taking the money and donating it to your LCBS, your local comic book store, which is pretty amazing. And like I saw some piece, it was on eBay for like 5,200 and some pen and ink that he did of something. But it was good. It was like some Batman inspired thing. Like I think one of these metal Batman things. But I mean, I always love when the comic book industry does shit like this, like, and they always fucking do. Like, I remember when the 9/11 shit happened, Alex Ross did that piece of Superman looking at the billboard of like all the first responders of New York, and it just said "Wow" in a little bubble next to him. Do you know what I mean? And it was like
it's more of an individual artist thing than the comic book industry thing, right?
Well, I don't know if you can
like I don't know. All I've heard from my friend who owns a comic book store for years and years is just bitching and complaining about how the fucking comic book industry doesn't fucking support the comic book stores.
Well, I think it's impossible to separate Jim Lee from the comic book industry at this point.
Well, I don't think Diamond's coming out and cutting people checks. You know, I don't. Because that's basically, you can call the comic book industry whatever you want. Diamond is the comic book industry.
Diamond is the comic book distribution industry.
Well,
it matters. The distributions matter a lot.
1,000% it matters. But I mean, like Diamond, what?
I said no. I have no idea, but according to my friend, like his things. Good. That's the reason why like comic book stores have either turned into Magic the Gathering stores or like they have to sell a lot of other stuff like pops and shit.
What is it that they like? See, that's the thing. I don't know if it's like. Well, that's like. I'd love to have him on the show. I would love it to have like an interview with him. But like, you know, what is it? Yeah, ask please. But like, what is it they want? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think comic book stores are in trouble too. But like at the same time, dude, like I'm buying my fucking comic books from Amazon. If I want to trade because they're cheaper,
that's the issue. Like the comic book.
But is that an industry fault? Is that the comic book industry's fault, or is that Amazon's fault?
Well, if the industry is helping push to Barnes and Nobles and Amazon, like I said, I'm not in it. I'm just only repeating what he said, and me myself personally, like he's my friend and all, but like. To me, it's like the fucking VCR, man. I'm not gonna fucking cry over the VCR when DVD player comes out.
I think I see. That's what I think it is. Like it's like I feel his pain. Don't get me wrong, and I don't.
It is.
I don't want comic book stores to go away. I think comic book stores are great, and they're always like this safe haven for nerds. But like,
I know, but like, how often do you go?
I mean, I go fairly regularly. I mean, well, what's fairly? Prior to quarantine, now how often do I spend money? Entirely different question. You know what I usually do?
Matters, right?
I go there and I find what I want and I buy from Amazon.
So see, I mean that's the fucked up part, right?
That's called showcasing, by the way.
Yeah.
So like, I mean that is the thing that happens, and he sees it and like he's upset by it. I'm like,
which I get, but like
I get it, but like I'm not going to spend that extra money that I don't have to.
I can't blame the comic book companies for that when like. If I have a product and I want to sell them for $20 and you're going to buy 10 from me for $10, but Amazon is going to buy 100 from me at $5, I'm making that deal.
Yeah, it's standard American capitalism. It's just how for better or worse, that's how the system works.
Yeah, I don't know how to level that fairly.
Right, but you know, on the same breath, a lot of us complains about Jeff Bezos and big companies killing the small businesses and whatever, but meanwhile a lot of us are part of the problem.
Well, yeah, I mean, because that's the thing, right? Is like I don't want to.
We want to complain about the big companies and Walmart and all this stuff treating the employees bad, but then we also shop there. Some of us, anyway, not me. But
well, I think like I'll shop at Walmart if I have to, but it is the last place that I will go.
Mm-hmm. But Amazon isn't. Amazon's the first place most people go.
Amazon is one of the first places I go. Yep. Yeah, and it's for convenience.
Convenience and price, right?
Yeah, but the convenience pays a part in the price, right? Because if I'm like, okay, so I got to drive into fucking town to go to Best Buy to get a CD or you know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I buy, me, I buy everything online. I think that's the way to go. But also if you go to Best Buy to look at what CDs they have and then go home to buy it from Amazon, that's a different story.
Right, but I don't do that. But I do it with comic books.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for example.
Yeah. But sometimes I do it to Barnes and Noble too. So is it bad when I do it to Barnes and Noble?
I mean, in general,
I'll go in Barnes and Noble, and
I'm not here to morally judge anybody for how they spend their money, because it makes sense.
I'll straight up go in Barnes and Noble and order shit from Amazon while I'm in there.
And to be fair, like a lot of times so here's the thing. I think I end up. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess ultimately it's not beneficial for them, but I'll go to Barnes and Noble, look around at the comic book stores, make a list that I want to buy from shit off Amazon, but. I might grab a magazine there or a coffee. Or you know what I mean? Stuff like that, where I am spending money there that I wouldn't if I couldn't window shop from, you know what I mean? Like window browse, I wouldn't have spent any money in there. So I don't know if there's the same happens at Beyond, right? If I go into Beyond and I might look for some books to buy, but I might walk out of there with a figure or.
But you're definitely going to walk out of there with some knowledge,
right?
No, it's one of the things I wrestle myself with, as I often do with many things. Is like I don't like what Amazon does with the workers and pay and benefits and all that bullshit. But then I do buy stuff from Amazon, so I guess I don't really have a right to complain.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Knowing something is wrong and then supporting it just makes me a worse person. To me, like I said, I'm not judging nobody else but myself.
No, I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, man, if I guess the thing is like, where do you draw certain lines? Like if I still let's say it's an Amazon exclusive thing, right? Like The Boys.
Amazon exclusive is not the same thing as everything else.
Sure, but okay, but let's take it out of Amazon and say Apple, right? So I'm not happy with some of Apple's business practices in regards to how they do people, right?
Right.
But I don't want any other product.
But it's different though. Apple is an Apple product. Amazon is not selling Amazon product.
Yeah, but it's still a question of morality versus purchase.
True.
So like, at what point do you deny yourself something based on something? You know what I mean? Like it's deep. That's a tricky question.
It is. It's hard. I mean,
I like that shit though. I
think about that shit for no reason. Like there's stuff things most people don't think about and don't have to think about, but like. Especially because I have friends or acquaintances of varying economic success. I know you guys, I know other pharmacists, and then I know minimum wage workers that I'm, So like I feel their plight, and so I do feel guilty when I do certain things to support the system.
Yeah. I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, like I wouldn't even know where to begin to come up with a solution.
Yeah, exactly. The system is so vast and built, like our society as a whole, that like you can't take anything apart. It's just true. The essential workers rant from last week. How they're essential workers, we need them to survive, but they're also the minimum wage worker. Everyone always talks shit on about how they should fucking move up in the world and get an education and get a better job.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that. I hear you. I mean, I think there's gray to that conversation too, though.
There is, because there's a lot of people. I mean, not everybody who works at a grocery store is a entry level minimum wage. There's people that make a career out of working in the grocery store.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And those people make a decent living.
Right. The bagger is not intended to be a career position.
But who decided that?
The company itself.
No,
right?
Who decided to do that?
No, who decided that minimum wage shouldn't be something you can live off of?
That's a whole nother conversation.
I thought minimum wage was created in order for the president who created minimum wage. Isn't his thing say there's a minimum wage now because everyone who fucking works should fucking have a house and food to eat?
This is true.
What is the minimum wage?
That is the purpose, right? That is the purpose.
That's the whole $15 minimum wage thing.
What is the minimum wage in Maryland?
It is it's in between $10 and $11 an hour.
All right, so let's say $10.50 times.
The cost of living and minimum wage has not gone up the same,
No,
I will tell you that the minimum wage, the national minimum wage is $7.25. In a lot of states, it's still $7.25. Maryland is it was $10.15, I think, when Mason was working part-time.
So calculate out minimum wage. You work 40 hours a week every week.
Multiply it by basically you take the hourly wage, you multiply it by 2080, and that's them working a full year of 40 hours a week.
Well,
thanks mortgage business.
All right,
I want to talk about a month. Like how much money you make a month?
So
if you make
if you make $10.50 an hour,
mm-hmm.
your yearly salary, if I multiply by 2080, is $42,000 a year, almost 43.
Minus taxes?
No.
No, okay. So no, well, I guess I have.
So it's 10.10 right now. Minimum wage is 10.10. It's going to be, the plan is by 2025 it'll be 15 an hour.
Okay, wait. So you said it's $10.10 an hour.
So that's 21. Correct. Oh wait, that's $21,000
times 40 hours a week.
Yeah, you're not. That's wrong.
Wait.
Hold on. So 40 hours a week times 4 weeks a month. That's $1,500. So you pay what, a quarter in taxes probably? I pay more than a third. But
tax rates are very different at that level.
So, do you think 20% tax rate is fair for that?
No, it's not. It's probably closer to 10.
10. Okay, so times 0.9. So you're taking home $1,450 a month. How do you spend that money?
I don't know. I'd have to.
That's something like that. That's my only question. It's
because
like
I don't think at the same time that like, you know, I believe in equal work for equal pay, but I don't think that if you work at, like, so we have different types of residences, right? Mm-hmm. That are supposed to accommodate different incomes. So like, I don't know what an apartment, like a garden style apartment rent is. I'd have to do research.
I know for a fact that Wheaton, a studio apartment is $1,000 a month, and that's with roaches and everything.
Is that included, or is it pay extra?
Utilities included.
No, the roaches.
Oh, the roaches is free food apparently.
Well, it should be extra. You got to feed them too.
Yeah. So like, if you're taking home $1,500 a month, and then someone tells you you need to work up in the world, like how do you spend that money and time in order to do better? If you're I don't know. I'm just like, the numbers don't. You talking about Bobby's? Are you talking about numbers, Bobby? Like the numbers don't make sense to me. It never has, not for a while.
No, I hear you, and I'm not anti raising minimum wage either. But like,
a lot of people are though.
Right, but I get that too though, right? Because when I was working on the loading dock, I was making $15 an hour, and I don't feel like that work should justify the same pay as the bagger at McDonald's at We Is.
But why are we a society like can't? It's like we always compare it to ourselves. Like, well, I'm doing more than that guy, so that guy should get less. Instead of saying, I'm doing more than that guy, I should get more. Why do you want to step down on somebody else?
But I'm not though, because I think the open heart surgeon should get paid way more than me.
Right. But then you also, that's fine. But on the other end, like you're looking at someone and saying they're worth less.
No, I'm saying that their skill is worth less, not their life.
But it is though. If they can't make a living, and people are saying it doesn't matter if you can make a living. That makes a life worth less. They're saying we don't care how you pay your bills.
Well, no, I don't necessarily think that either. But I don't think that I would need to do more research into what it would take to live at a certain level of income, and then it's
minimum wage should be regional. It should be, that's fair. I don't think like in Alabama where Chris is from, minimum wage and us in DC minimum wage should be the same.
Right.
Right. You're 100% correct.
But it's the same.
So cost of living should be minimum wage.
But it's the same with. I mean, it's the same in Maryland though. You know, it's gonna cost more in Montgomery County than it is in Carroll County.
It should be regional.
Right. Like but it had to break down. It would have to break down.
It's never going to get that. It's never going to get that granular where I can make, because guess what? Everybody's going to go to Montgomery County because they can make an extra $1
exactly.
an hour. So it's never going to be that.
Yeah, I mean, all I care about is, like I said, as far as I know, unless I'm wrong, I could be wrong on this, but my thought and to my understanding was minimum wage was established so that people can, so that it is a living wage.
Minimum wage was established because they were paying children a nickel a day to shovel coal.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't think minimum wage and living wage were two separate things, but they are apparently two different terms now.
I mean, minimum wage and unions kind of came around in the same amount of time, and that was because they were paying adults dime a day to shovel coal.
Because I think that minimum wage does a disservice also in the same regard of people are now like, so now let's say that McDonald's, or let's go back to Weas. We're picking on Weas, but it's fine. Their name is stupid. So like Weas wants to pay a bagger $8 an hour. But minimum wage says, no, you have to pay him $10.10. Well, okay, I'm going to pay them $10.10, but now I'm going to also pay the cashier $10.10 because you're saying I can. So I think that's where it does a disservice also. Do you know what I'm saying? Where like before it might say, look, I'm going to pay the bagger 8, the cashier 12, and the stock boy 11. You know, and now they're like, oh, I got to pay the bagger 10. Okay, well then I'm going to pay the stock boy 10 also, and I'll pay the cashier 11. You know, so I think even though it's meant to raise what people are willing to pay, you know, what they consider to be the lower priority of worker at their establishment, it ends up having companies drop the pay of what they would pay other employees. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, there's two factors. That one is saying that, well, in order to not fuck some people for getting more money, then these other people shouldn't have more money to pay bills. It's sacrificing one thing for another. And two is it's up to the fucking company. Is the company's fault for not fucking the companies work off of infinite growth, which is a fucking preposterous idea.
Right.
So like if it's a fucking multi-billion-dollar company in profit, like them choosing not to spend the money on their workers is the company's fault, not the people or the systems.
No, I agree with that too, and I do think
I
that
have
there
no
needs
idea how we got on this fucking thing.
I think you're in your socio-political bag today, which is fine. I'm willing to journey there.
You know what it is? You know what it is? You're right. You know what it is, dude. Final Fantasy VII is hugely. No.
I'm sure it is. It's just funny to me that it's all coming.
It is fucking deep, man. Like I don't. People who hasn't played the game or don't remember or played it too young. It is okay. So it starts off as you are a fucking eco-terrorist blowing up power plant because they're sucking up the lifeblood of the energy. Like that is the opening scene of the game.
Right.
And then then you are living in a city where it's two layers. There's one on the ground floor and one that's literally suspended in air, where like all the rich people live and all the trash like gets dumped down to the bottom to where everyone works. So like yeah, I think maybe I'm in my socio-political bag because I've been playing the fucking game so much.
Yeah.
Thinking about the people on the bottom.
Which is fine. I'm okay.
Which is like I know I'm not like I'm not their spokesperson of them as in those people or whatever.
Right.
I'm not saying in a derogatory, but I'm doing fine financially. I'm doing much better than a majority of people that I know. So, like I care about the people who aren't. You know.
I hear you. I think that my issue with this is that I am a believer in like, you know, you work hard, you get, you know, you go the extra mile, you get more reward, right?
Yeah, you go the extra mile, get more reward. You go the regular distance, you make a living. That's how.
But I'm also in the pocket of, but I'm saying it on the reverse, Joe, where it's like this person, you know, this person did work that minimum wage job and then busted their ass and went to school and got the leg up and whatever they did or learned a trade and now they've maneuvered into a different pocket. They should be rewarded for that.
Yeah, and
my drawback to that real quick though is that I'm also, I think at my core, a humanitarian, and I hate to see people suffer. I hate to see people in a bad spot. But it's coming to terms with that in my head of balancing it out because I don't want to. Because in the same breath of my humanitarian element, I don't want to fuck over this group, you know, to help that group. Do you know what I'm saying? Like where. I mean, I'm with you that like these people that make billions and billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars as CEOs of some company should have, you know, PPE for their people that are working right now or should have all that kind of shit. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. But most companies do spend like 80% of their shares on their fucking employees.
I mean, that's what it's supposed to, right?
Agree, but what I'm saying is that like
you sell things so you make money to pay people and yourself to keep buying things to sell things to make money to pay, right?
But I think that sometimes we paint all of these folks as if they're like malicious, maniacal monsters sitting in their desk just collecting their billions and billions of dollars and trying to find more rooms in their house to store their billions and billions of dollars. But at the same time, most of what their company is earning is, I mean, not just most, but almost, 80% at minimum usually is going to their people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't, but kind of.
Like if you own something and you have people that work for you, I think
you're spending the amount of money that you, but there's an accumulation. That's the thing. Like there is a more and more accumulation of a larger and larger sum in that's not being put back onto the lesser people. Right?
I don't know though, man, because like as we said, like
as profit goes up and something's worth goes up, that wealth comes from somewhere, right? So it comes up from the bottom. So if it keeps getting more and more accumulated, I mean, like, and it's not coming back down, then it just keeps going up.
Yeah, but it's the checks and balances on its way up are oftentimes creating diversions, right? So like if the money is going up and people are working their way up, those people are getting paid more too.
But if you look at, I look at the job market as like a pyramid, so to speak. There's one in a company, right? There's a CEO up top, and then management under them, and then more middle management under them, and then workers under them, right? There's always a set amount, like one guy on top, like 100 guys on the bottom, right?
Right.
You'll always have 100 guys on the bottom.
Right.
So those 100 guys need to be, like, there's only so much upward mobility you have, because you always have 100 guys on the bottom, only one guy on top.
Yes, to stay, but at the same time, I don't think that the competition is always that stiff. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so if I were to look at my job right now,
yeah,
the 100 guys at the bottom, I'm most of them are probably good to be at the bottom. I don't mean that they're okay with it, but I mean that they probably shouldn't go up.
Right, but so there are a bunch of people in the world that shouldn't go up, right? We agree. I agree too. There's a bunch of people in the world who shouldn't go up or can't or don't have the ability to go up, right? Right?
Right.
So those people need to be taken care of.
But see, taken care of is, so I do think that there should
they work, not as in they should be given shit for free.
Right, no, I get it, but I do think that there should be a difference between the responsibility of a person that's working there as a career and the responsibility of a person that's working there as a summer job.
I mean, regardless of 40 hours of your life a week is 40 hours of your life a week.
Correct.
Like, if you don't think the person's worth fucking getting paid enough to pay their fucking bills, then just fire them and get somebody else.
But I don't think that every job is. I don't know if every job should be created with that intention. That's I think where my fundamental difference is. That's where my breakdown with minimum wage comes in, because I think that minimum wage does a disservice to some while doing a service to others.
Sorry, guys, I dropped out of the internet.
I saw it.
Sounds like I missed some enthralling conversation.
No, you didn't. It's boring fucking shit that like two middle-aged men are talking about that has nothing to do with nothing.
Yeah. I don't know. It's too complicated. I think it's too complex.
Oh my God, look, I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was Adam. I don't. Somebody said, like, is minimizing suffering? it should be a priority. Over maximizing, I guess, I don't know, pleasure, I guess. Minimizing suffering is probably more important than maximizing pleasure.
I would agree with that.
So, like, that's why, I mean, like, if some people has to get paid less extra money for other people to get paid necessary money, I'm okay with that, I guess.
I think it depends, because I think that, like Walmart isn't the same as where my wife works. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, not every shoe is going to fit every foot.
Yeah, but minimum wage is minimum wage. Doesn't matter what company you're at.
Plus, Walmart doesn't carry 14s worth of shit.
But what I'm saying is that minimum wage, while it might be doing the bagger at We's a service, it might be doing the front desk lady at my wife's work a disservice.
Yeah, but like what I was saying, minimizing suffering. If minimizing suffering is the goal here, then the bagger being able to pay his bill is probably more important than the desk lady having extra cash.
No. You're misreading me, Joe. I'm saying that the front desk lady isn't able to pay her bills because of minimum wage.
Well, that doesn't make sense, because everyone should. The point is, everyone should be able to pay the fucking bills if they're working full time.
It depends on their bills. You shouldn't be able to pay your Ferrari bill if you're a bagger at We's.
No, but that's not what I'm talking about. Paying your bills as in like your a living wage, as in like enough for rent and food and fucking electricity and shit. which $1,400 a month will not cover.
I like I said, I don't know. I don't know enough about that. I don't know what people are
living
getting.
off of $400 for a fucking month.
Dude, I know people that are living off a lot less.
I know, and they're not great. And
listen, there's a lot of programs for people that are underpaid, or however you want to say it. Whether they choose to take advantage of those programs or not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's
how, because a lot of people aren't getting paid a lot. It's probably people who aren't the most savvy either.
Well, that's also true. I can't disagree with you.
Yeah.
Before people come in with their fucking manufacturer's coupon for their drugs, is always the fucking rich people who already don't need the coupons, where the fucking people who need the coupon don't even fucking realize there are coupons.
I'm a believer in that too. I hear you on that as well. But it's like, you know, I don't know, man. Like I said, I get stuck because I get stuck in this mud hole of conflicting ideas of my own morality.
Yeah, me too. That's what I'm saying. Like, I wrestle with myself because I don't know what's right, but like I don't want to be wrong. Not just to be right. Like, I don't want to be morally wrong. You know what I mean? Right.
No, I'm with you. I am too. I think that's the thing. Cause like, it's like one of those things. I think a lot of things with me when it comes to this type of shit is like, I can become so sure of something and then have one little crack in that foundation and become so unsure of it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's complicated. I mean, that's what this all shit is, right? Politics, and like everybody thinks. I think everybody thinks they're trying to do what's right. You know, it's just a matter of what actually ends up being right in hindsight.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, Jim Lee's selling his artwork. So if you want to help out your local comic book store.
Way to go, Jim Lee.
No Regerts. Dan DiDio was interviewed after leaving DC, and he said some things, and he said some stuff, and he said some flair and filth. He said, probably my biggest regret is making things happen too quickly sometimes. We spent a good 6 to 8 months building the New 52, rethinking the characters, the designs, the villains, everything so that it made sense. The former co-publisher went to say that he felt things began to move quicker and that less time and energy was being invested to the development or improvements or making changes to the characters that felt like it was worthy of a new direction or a line. Fans don't have a point of reference anymore, and you feel the wheels falling off the cart. He added that unfortunately, once you put that in, the rebirth element, you also put things in that made you want to relaunch the line in the first place. The characters got stagnant again. The whole point of storytelling is changed and evolving. And I wanted to keep this in because this is kind of exactly what Joe talks about all the time, with sort of rehashing the same shit with comic books, and you know, especially in regards to the big two, but also that like this is turning. It looks like it's turning out to be all this rebirth and everything else, just pretty much what Marvel did with their Ultimates, where they wanted to rethink it, and then it all just sort of became a trope of what it was before.
Yeah, it was great. I loved the Ultimate Universe when it came out. I read like fucking 12 or 15 volumes of that shit. Yeah. No, I agree. But and it became more of the same. I was like, wait, why am I reading the same story again?
Mm-hmm. So it was interesting. I hope that with Dan having left DC, that he lets us into a lot of the behind the scenes as to Rebirth and New 52, because I think that was a gift and a curse, not unlike minimum wage, but that it was you know, it became a jump on point for a lot of people, but it also alienated a lot of people, and I don't know.
You think there's any NDAs where you can't talk about certain shit?
I would imagine.
That's what I was just thinking about.
I would imagine there has to be, but I don't need the nitty gritty. You know that. You know, well, if Colleen hadn't fucked Daryl behind the copy machine, you know, like, you know,
that's the stuff I do want to know about.
Well, I do. So yes, I do want to know about it, but I don't need to know about it.
Well, if Jim Lee would quit doodling during staff meetings. Jesus, we put an artist on staff.
And then lastly, once he thought he was out, Bob Iger returns to Disney amid the COVID crisis. I kept this in because basically, like, Disney's, they're in trouble too, because everybody's in fucking trouble. And there were some people that suggested that Iger was removed due to Star Wars or whatever. But apparently, if he was like, I don't think they would just have him walk right back on in the midst to fix something. He says a crisis of this magnitude and its impact on Disney would necessarily result in my activity helping Chapek, who took his spot, and the company contend with it, particularly since I ran the company for 15 years. So, for better or worse, he's back over there. I don't know I wonder how their money is going to sort out. Because I know they rely on that park for.
That parks are big money for them,
right?
And I don't see how that's ever going to be
right
what it was. I mean, it'll be it's $7,000 for your family to have one day in the park because we can only have this many people in the park on each day.
Well, hello.
Yeah.
I sound weird to me for a second. The question is, we talk about like how the things aren't going to be the same again, but like we have a tendency over time to just lapse back to the way things were. If everything ends up working out well, like if we get a cure or whatever, like and this will just pass us and we'll fucking forget about it, and we won't learn from it until the next time it happens. I feel like that happens with disasters in general.
Yeah,
you keep fucking putting up houses at places at flood zones and tornado areas, but
Did they ever get that water in Flint?
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, so like here's the thing that I was thinking about, right? Like, and we keep coming back to it. But I guess it's just going to be the nature of things. But like the Department of Homeland Security, right? Like I think if you were to ask my kids about it, they would say, "Oh yeah, it's probably been around since what, World War II?" Maybe.
No, it's been around since 2001.
Exactly, but I'm saying if you were to ask my kids.
Like, they don't know any better.
Yes, and I think it's just become like ingrained, like the Patriot Act, like the fact that the government can read your emails and all this shit. It's just always seems like it's been here to the next generation, right? Like,
I hope they read my emails because Duluth Trading's got us selling underwear this week.
But I mean, like I could see Jana being like, "Well, what do you want? A Department of Homeland Insecurity?" Like, like, so like I do wonder like what is going to come from this, 20 years from now, what is normal 20 years from now or 10 years from now that was not normal today? Like that I think is one of the most interesting things to me about this entire thing is just seeing how much is going to change culturally, sociologically, and economically for this country moving forward.
I wonder how much it's going to be, because I think if not just the everyday person, like all big companies want things to go back to the way they were because the entire money system is built on it. Like, the entire system is built on people going to theaters and buying popcorn and going to amusement parks and concerts. And
Joe, let me tell you, those days are over. We will not go to the movies anymore.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
At your house.
Will, maybe
the theaters do not have any money.
What'll happen is they'll take out 2 seats for every one, and popcorn will be $58.68.
Theoretically, that's what based on current regulations. Yeah, you'll have.
We talk about all the small companies folding, but like if things don't change even after because of quarantine, right? If after quarantine lifts, but like people just live differently now, like how many big companies are going to fold? Like all the amusement parks, zoos, and shit. Like anywhere people gather, if people just don't gather anymore.
Dude,
like, if I've got a tiger in my backyard, is that considered a zoo?
What about the last day they just open all the cages? You're driving to work, just a fucking rhino on the streets.
It's like Jumanji.
Let's get into a couple questions. We have one from Joe S. He said, "Question time. Hey, fellow quarantiners. Thanks a bunch for keeping this going, guys. It's a high point of my week every week. My first question is, have you ever encountered a design or character that you thought was dumb as shit until you learned the lore and then completely changed your mind? I definitely did with Tarn. I thought the Decepticon symbol on his face was goddamn goofy until I learned his story. Now I just want more."
Yeah. Most recently would be All Might with My Hero Academia. When I first saw him, when I didn't know anything about it, and I was like, "What the fuck is this weird shit?" And then I, started reading and watching it, and I fucking love that guy.
I always thought Hellboy looked dumb until I read the book, and I'm like, "Oh, this is really, really cool."
Well, I can tell you, even most recently with the bat symbol on Baddinson's chest, that I was like, that looks dumb, and then they're like, well, it might be the broken down handgun that was used to kill his parents. I was like, nope, that's cool.
Yeah. So content or story does matter.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think. Go ahead.
With people's attractiveness too. In real life, like I have found people more or less attractive over time. like physically attractive more or less over time.
Yeah, I have too. I definitely can agree with that.
You would think it's just a visual, instinctive thing. It's like, oh, a hot girl is a hot girl, but once you get to know them, and they're just a fucking bitch. It's like, oh, they don't even look that hot to you anymore.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
Like I think that's why like a lot of like workplace affairs and shit happen. Like you go there and like the girl is not a threat at all, but because you work with her every day and you learn little things about her that you find attractive or whatever, then it ends up causing a problem.
Oh yeah, I used to go to Freak Nick. Sorry.
Yeah, and all
imagine you at Freak Nick is great.
Me, no, not me. I'm just saying.
Oh,
some broad at Freak Nick.
Oh, right.
And you've always seen, you know those couples. Everyone knows a couple where like one of them is really dumpy, and you wonder how they get the other person.
Yeah, I think that's me. I think that's the couple I'm a part of.
How are you trying to name names?
Y'all known each other since the Sandbox. That's kind of hard to.
Second question. Any moments out in public where you've had to deal with idiots who aren't doing what they should? I had to tell a guy in line at the gas station yesterday to keep back. Dude would have been too close even without a pandemic.
Wow.
He says, from my bunker in Minneapolis with all the mostly hetero man love, Joe. I mean, aside from I think the DSAs have covered most of our dumb shit.
You know, I will tell this story. The grocery store we frequent most, and my wife had been in there that morning, that evening. There were some people walking around coughing and sneezing on people on purpose and laughing about it. I can only assume it was teenagers. That's just my instinct. I probably would have laid hands on somebody over that if I'd seen it happen, or if it happened to me.
There has been videos of people getting knocked the fuck out over doing some dumb shit.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a video out there of a guy like sneezing on some oranges, and it's a guy in an apron. I guess it just does this wild overhand punch to the back of his head, knocks him out.
Yeah, puts him in park.
I thought it was open hand, man. I thought he knocked him the fuck down with an open hand.
Was it? It may have been.
I think so. It was fucking crazy.
I love it. Have you seen those guys like arguing about the coronavirus outside of an apartment building?
I don't think so.
It's pretty fantastic. It's like these guys and they're hanging out. They're having this like debate about the coronavirus, and then all of a sudden, like one of them is like keep like eyeballing another guy out of the side of his face. You can see him like keep looking, and then he freaks out. He's like, "Stop touching people with your hands!" Okay, so this is from Paul C. He says,
Hello?
He says, in this time of craziness, let's go to some extremes. Obviously, we hope it doesn't get to this, but just for the sake of some hopefully interesting discussion, let's say we're forced to quarantine for the foreseeable future and all of you lose your income. What of your hobbies do you give up first to save money? And when that is no longer enough, what is the order that you sell off your collectibles to make money? Do you work your way up to those with the most sentimental value, or do you sell the ones worth the most regardless of sentiment? I wanted to squeeze this question in there knowing that Joe is likely to be going out of pocket for FF7 very shortly, if not already. Joe, stay safe.
I'm looking at market value, seeing what's hot and what's not, and that's what I'm selling first. Get them first, most bang for the buck.
Yeah, well, which collection would you let go first? I mean, like in terms of like discontinuing, because that was like the first. It's like a 2-part question.
Oh well, I mean, I'm not. If it comes down to we're paying the mortgage or I'm buying toys, I'm not buying fucking toys.
Yeah,
just the period, point blank.
I guess for the sake of his, for the sake, I'm with you. I agree 100%. That is the right answer, Chris. But for the sake of his question, if it was a gradual thing, and at first you could make ends meet as long as you let go of the cystic lesions collection, you couldn't continue that for a bit, or what I mean, or hot toys, or.
Well, I'd probably say the hot toys just because it's the biggest expense.
Gotcha.
For me, that's what it would be, I guess.
And then you'd play, the field in regards to income, as far as just get the big bank first, and hopefully when that's gone, the little bank will have raised in a little bit of value.
Maybe. Yeah.
What about you, Joe?
I mean, with regards of not spending money, that's not hard for me. Like, I've done it on and off. Like, I haven't spent that much. Like, I can easily just stop spending any money, frivolous, like any extraneous money other than on food. But if it comes down to like in quarantine for the foreseeable future and just losing income. And honestly, I'd look around to see the instead of like looking to sell my stuff, because like I would think people aren't really buying stuff anyway. I would just take a look at the state of the world, really, because when things get bad enough, like I'm a pessimist. When things get bad enough, people are just gonna be robbing people, because like so that's what I'm gonna be worried about doing or having been done to me. Because like at my one of my pharmacies, like we have a bunch of new security measures because like 8 different pharmacies was robbed in our area in the last couple of weeks.
Wow.
So like I just prepare for that instead. I'm like, well, no one's making money, so I guess I have to fucking go get food somehow.
Yeah.
So
I think what I would let go, I guess, would be the more difficult I thought it would be to acquire it in the future would be the collection that I would discontinue last.
Dude, my mind is like, if this shit happened and I had to sell shit, I'm done. Whatever is gone is gone. I'm not trying to ever chase that shit down again. Because in reality, I'm probably gonna be more interested in finding something to fucking eat.
Right.
But I see what you mean.
Yeah, I'm just trying to answer the question with fun because I don't think he wants a fucking do like, oh, dude, I'll just get rid of it and then hang. I told you I'd eat my kids first, and then after I ate my kids, then I would I think I would leave my life and my wife's life up to one final game of Risk, and whoever won the game got to eat the other one. But like I think I would just like Marvel Legends and shit. Like I'm gonna be able to get those with minimal overpay in the future. So like I would let that shit go. And then the Black Series, the same thing. And
find them at a dirt mattress store.
Say what? Yeah, exactly.
Any dirty mattress sale. You can
Right. Exactly. And then as far as selling stuff off, I probably, much like Chris, I would start with biggest bang for my buck. Like I would try to get big cash quick so that I could sell the least and make the most to sustain would be my approach.
That would make sense, but like I feel like a lot of, other than the big stuff, the things are worthless anyway. Am I really gonna try and sell whatever action figures I have? Like in the long run, like I don't like you make what $1 of a figure. Like I would have to sell my statues, obviously, and I would get a decent chunk of change, and I would never try and get them back, like Chris said. But that's the only thing that I think have value, because I like whether you're willing to let something go or not.
What about that figure that you bought from Japan? That's like just a figure, but has like a big value. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, but that's not the norm.
No, it's not the norm. But like there are, I feel like every collection has that piece. Not maybe that extreme, but
yeah, because like I love anyone's collection. I imagine most of us, like value wise, is like really one sided. Like we have a group of things that are worth a lot, and then a lot of shit that isn't worth anything.
Correct. Yeah, for sure. And then I just die with the Darth Vader cookie jar because nobody would buy it. All right, let's see if we can get one more in. Let's see here. That one's a little heavy.
The show's pretty heavy.
Well, no, it's not a heavy question. It's actually... Oh, Chris is back. Let's just call it there because Chris is having some technical difficulties as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
No worries. No worries.
You need to hardwire your shit into your router too, like I did.
So I think we got this storm that's been hovering around and some winds and stuff, and I think that's probably what it is. And we've capped the 2-hour mark, so I think we'll let it go there.
It's pretty long actually compared to the last few shows. I've been doing like hour and a half shows.
Yeah, well, I think last week we did 2 hours, but yeah, I think the 2 before that have been hour. Because like there's not as much diversion when you're on the fucking phone, which is a bummer because the diversion usually I feel like is like some of our most entertaining stuff.
Except when I talk about minimum wage for half an hour for no reason.
Yeah, but some every now and then it's
honestly, to everyone listening, I'm sorry. I don't know. I just fucking went the fuck off for no reason.
Yeah, and I think that when it comes to discussion like that, like I said, my feet aren't planted firmly in the ground on that, but I like having those types of conversations every once in a while because I like my point of view being challenged, and figuring out what my point of view even is,
mm-hmm.
So, you know, I don't necessarily need to have it embark down that path every episode, but I don't think it's a big deal to go down that road every once in a while into something.
And we have had like serious or this type of conversation before. Like I just feel like now, like, these times people are turning on to like relax and have fun and have an easy listen.
Yeah. But I think that at the end of the day, everybody, at least on this podcast, the goal is to find fairness,
Yes.
right? But the question of what is fair is where it gets murky.
Yes.
Shout out to the rest of the Cool Table, Shattercast Uncut, Enter the Realm, Toy Detox, Stasis Lock, Breaking the Mold, Building Up to It, Fresh Communications, and Verbally Challenged. And shout out to the rest of the Nerd Rage team. Raul on Instagram, Phil doing Twitter, and on our notes, Dante the Destroyer on Facebook, and Manny behind the scenes, and then of course Gort, Andy, and Esteban with the Force Sensitive and Force Friday stuff. And Esteban reached out to me too and was like, "Man, I want to help with the Force Friday stuff too." So that's cool. This last one I did ended up getting a little bit of like some really high praise. The Arrogance of the Jedi. It's it's one of the more well received ones, like, which is nice. And that's it, I think.
Yeah. With that, Flap Labius.
Tasty taint.
Tight dick player.